Welcome everybody to A Book and a Beer, the show that combines reading and drinking. And today we're not talking about a book as much as many books. 2021 has just started and I'm already looking at my 2021 to be read list kind of like this, because it's not a bunch of new and exciting books as much as books from previous years that I haven't read, with some new books. And let's face it, isn't that the problem that those old books from previous years haven't been read yet? Because the new, shiny, exciting books, oh well. First, let's have a look at the books from last year that didn't get read in 2020. Or, 2019, 2018. Might even be a few in there that are from older than that. I have a problem. First up, it's actually two books. It's Iron Age and Dark Age from Pierce Brown. This is the second trilogy, or the first two books of the second trilogy of the Red Rising series. Huge fan of the first Red Rising series. I don't know why it's taken me so long to get into this second trilogy, but they've been on my shelf since the day they came out and I haven't started them. Sea of Rust. Possibly my all-time favorite cover. I mean, look at that. It's beautiful. I sometimes wonder if the reason I haven't read this yet is that I'm concerned the story won't live up to the cover. It might. I love this cover so much that if the story inside wasn't incredible, I think I'd be crushed. Vicious. I'm a huge superhero guy, so this should have been read instantly, but hasn't been. And I even have this awesome bookmark. Custom made by my wife and kids. There's really no reason why I haven't read this. Warcross. I don't know. Everyone who has ever read this and knows me has said, this book is right up your alley. Scythe by Neil Schusterman. By Neil Schusterman. Next, Stephen King's The Institute. This was another book that I got on release because it's only been the past few years that I've really discovered that I was lying to myself when I would tell people I'm a casual Stephen King fan. He's okay. Because every time I read one of his books, I would give it 5 stars, maybe 4.5 at the least. So when I finally realized I'm actually like a hardcore Stephen King fan, got this the day it came out, and haven't read it. I have a feeling it has to do something like that. Invictus. This one sold me on a single tweet. So anyone who ever wonders, does Twitter work? It worked at least once. The author said in her tweet that Invictus was Firefly meets Doctor Who. I'm in. I am in. Just not right away, apparently. All rights reserved. So in this book, everything has been copywritten. The words we speak cost you. So just to speak to your friend, it's going to cost you money to use those words. To text somebody, it's going to cost you money because somebody owns the word the. The hell? Blood, Sweat, and Pixels. I'm a huge gamer, and this is one of the few non-fictions that I wanted to pick up, all about the triumph, turbulent stories behind how video games are made. Crooked Kingdom. Yeah, I know. I haven't finished a 2-book series. I know. And when Six of Crows was recommended to me, I think I went out and found it that same week, and then I finished it within days. And that was now at least a couple years ago. So why have I not done this? Why? Sabbath. This has nothing to do with the band. Sabbath is an 11th century warrior who's plucked out of his time and dropped into modern-day New York to find and kill the 7 deadly sins. That's all I needed to hear. And last but not least from the old pile, Gideon the Ninth. I don't know. Anyone I've heard say anything about this book says it's incredible, so naturally, I haven't read it. I will. So before we move on to the new, shiny, exciting books, I want to preview some of the beers that I've been picking up recently. Voodoo Ranger from Etobicoke, Ontario, which is essentially Toronto, in the area. It is a New Belgium IPA, 7%. A few new ones from Cowbell Brewing in Blythe, Ontario. Gravel Run and some word I can't say. Kvike Pale Ale. It's almost like Kvoth. You Rothas fans will know what I'm talking about. This might be a little out of season. Endless Summer. However, love sour beers, big fan. This one is a pineapple sour, and it's very intriguing. I might have to save it until the weather starts to get warm, but yeah, nice can too. Look at that pineapple. And this last one I just picked up yesterday. It's got me very excited and very nervous at the same time. It's called Peanut Butter Shake from Whitewater Brewing Company. This one comes from Ottawa Valley. I love peanut butter and I love beer. Never had them together. I mean, some brewer somewhere said, let's put peanut butter in our next brew. And then somebody else said, that's a good idea. I'm cautiously optimistic. Emphasis on the cautiously. And now on to the best part, the new shiny books. These aren't necessarily going to be 2020 releases or 2021 releases or even within the past couple of years, but they're all new to me. First up is Skyward by Brandon Sanderson. Let's face it, Sanderson can't do anything wrong. There, I said it. Fight me. Next, I've got Jerry Seinfeld's latest book, Is This Anything? Really interesting thing. I've been a stand-up comedy fan since I was about 12 years old. And this is basically just his stand-up in written form. Not sure what it's going to be like to read stand-up in the written word, but I'm looking forward to it nonetheless. Frederick Backman's Anxious People. Now, a man called Uwe, and I believe it's pronounced Uwe, was a book that I had seen for years and years and kind of thought, well, the cover didn't look like it was my kind of book. There were no aliens or monsters or spaceships or anything like that. Took me a while to get to it, but when I got to it, I absolutely fell in love with Backman's characters. Hockey Town, same kind of idea. So this I'm really excited to get to. Look at that. There he is again, Stephen King, If It Bleeds. Now this is a short story collection. I believe the title, If It Bleeds, is about half the book, and then there's 3 or 4 other stories included. I like the cover on this one. This it seems to be reaching back to the way his covers were back in the 80s and the 90s. Fate of the Fallen by Kel Cade. This email marketing works for this one. I got in an email a character breakdown, and it went through each character, and it talked very, very casually, but very funny about each character. Called a couple of them a jackass, called them worthless, and then at the end it said these are the characters that have to save the world. Next up, I've got 1,000 Years to Wait, and its sequel, The Heart of Death by L. Ryan Storms. Now these books both have stunning covers. And if you go look up L. Ryan Storms on Twitter, she even had an animated version of The Heart of Death that she posted. Really awesome stuff. Check it out. And last but not least, probably the most important ones. Tasting beer and craft beer for the geeks. I'm gonna actually know what I'm talking about with beer. I mean, anyone can hold up the glass and go, "Ah, this looks kind of hazy." What does that mean? You know? I don't know. But I will. That's going to be it for this one. Do all the things, the like and the subscribe, and comment about your favorite book and your favorite beer that you want to see on this show. Until then, cheers. Let's try that again. Number 3. Why can't I speak? And until then, I need a can. Mistborn is great. And if you go follow, if you go follow, the beer.